We know it's been a while, but it is Juju. It is Jose. This is 49 Reasons to Listen. And we're talking about that number 3 wide receiver slot a little bit for the 49ers because NKeal Harry, he wants out of New England. The Niners, Bill Belichick, they've done business before. But will they come to a deal on the former Arizona State first-round wide receiver, Jose?
I mean, I would hope so. You did mention that kind of 3 spot for the wide receiver position for the Niners right now is kind of vacant. If you told me right now who was going to be there, I would have no clue, if I'm being completely honest. And that's not a good thing. Season's about 2 months away, less than 2 months away, actually. And we need somebody. We need bodies there. We lost a couple of guys at the wide receiver position this offseason. And you see, wide receiver is also a position where injuries happen, and they happen a lot. We know that very, very, very clearly from last year, unfortunately. So even adding a little bit of depth would not hurt. When you kind of look at the logistics of NKeal Harry's kind of financial situation when it comes to his contract, it's really not that much of a buy, to be honest. It's pretty inexpensive type of player, still in his rookie contract. Hasn't been really successful in New England, so he hasn't really gotten the opportunity to gain a lot of that kind of that experience and kind of that value that a lot of first round wide receivers kind of typically get in their first couple of years. So he is inexpensive. I say, why not? Why not add an extra body? And maybe in this situation, maybe with the Kyle Shanahan offense, he could kind of flourish a little bit better than what he did in New England.
Well, the good part about this for the Niners is they have a good connection here to be able to evaluate the player. Obviously, they talked to Herm Edwards a ton when they were evaluating Brandon Aiyuk. Mm-hmm. They can use that same connection when it comes time to, should we make a deal for NKeal Harry? Because Herm probably knows a little bit more about this guy than we do. Maybe he knows a better way to use him than it seems like the Patriots have been using him. All things considered, I give him a little bit of a pass on his rookie year, trying to find that connection with Brady. Like, not too many receivers just instantly come in, especially rookie wide receivers, and take the league by storm. And then last year, I mean, you just got to look at the quarterback. I mean, Cam Newton threw 8 passing touchdowns through 17 weeks last year. 8. He had 12 rushing touchdowns. Great for Cam. But in this particular instance, if you're a wide receiver, you're just kind of left hanging. You're just left holding that bag. And yeah, there's been some injury concerns there as well. But I do believe that NKeal Harry still has that first round talent. There's a reason he was taken above some other notable wide receivers in that draft, including like a potential teammate and down the road in a Deebo Samuel. NKeal does have like a certain skill set that like people were praising heading into that draft as well. At first, they thought it was going to be a perfect pairing between him and the Patriots. But obviously, like I said, you look at the situation and it just never came together. As far as him demanding a trade, that's a little bit of a red flag for someone who hasn't really produced through 3 years, because like, you haven't really put it out there. You haven't really established great numbers in the NFL. And here you are requesting a trade. That does make you look a certain way and does draw a certain ire amongst the fan base there. So I don't know. As far as the Niners, should they make a trade for NKeal Harry? I'm going to say yes as well, only because, like you said, he's probably not going to cost that much. He's maybe a 5th round pick, according to most NFL executives. And if you look at the Niners team, injuries have shown that we are not that deep. If, Aiyuk has to miss a game, or Deebo has to miss a game, which he's missed several games of the last couple of years, that's going to be a problem, because then who's next that steps up there? Jalen Hurd, the guy who hasn't played at all in 2 seasons since he was drafted. Jawan Jennings, I'm hearing about, guy who ran a 4.7 40 7th round pick. I mean, I would love if the guy showed up, and I do think that there's a reason Kyle drafted him in general, but we got to be honest about what his skill set is as well. You're replacing Kendrick Bourne is not an easy task. I mean, he did command a lot of targets, a lot of red zone targets. So whoever steps in that role has to have a similar type skill set. And I think in a certain respect, NKeal can match what Kendrick is able to bring to the team.
Yeah, we can't really pretend that guys like Trent Taylor and Kendrick Bourne, who we lost this offseason, were huge contributors to the offense. Kendrick Bourne, the year before this past one, actually towards the end of the second half of the season, and the playoffs had a really good run there. But last year didn't really show much. Trent Taylor really didn't show much his entire Niner career. So it's not like he needs to, NKeal Harry needs to come in and replace, godlike tier wide receivers. But it would be nice to have a guy like him. What do you think him lining up opposite of maybe Deebo Samuel? I kind of see a little bit of similarities. It's more of their physique. I think Deebo Samuel is a lot more of a faster guy, could, hit his stride a little bit faster. But what would you think how it would look having an offense with Deebo Samuel and NKeal Harry with kind of similar skill set?
Well, as far as that goes, I think that Kyle has a unique way that he wants to use his wide receivers that we've seen over the last couple of years, using them in end arounds, run blocking. I guess the thing is, can NKeal Harry show that he's tough enough for the team or the type of offense that Kyle wants to run? Because you could only imagine, too, that there's going to be a more added pressure for receivers in the run blocking game moving forward as well, as we move towards a more Trey Lance-centric offense, too, which I imagine is going to have more zone reads. It's going to have the quarterback moving outside the pocket, and he's going to need some blockers down the field. So I guess my question is, have we seen enough of that with NKeal Harry, too? I just happy if Deebo could line up across from anyone at this point, because I just need to see him on the field more, because we know how productive the offense is when he is on there, but haven't had a lot of that, and he's only been in the league for a couple of years.
No, I totally agree with that. I think you mentioned it, Kyle Shanahan and that offense, they'll find a way. I mean, I think if they could find a way to make Kendrick Bourne work in that offense, they'll find a way to make a guy like NKeal Harry work there. But I think it would be interesting. I think I would like to see a little bit more, like you mentioned, depth, especially at that position. I mean, that position, the injuries at that position really hurt us a lot this past year. And you mentioned it, Deebo Samuel, hopefully he could come back and kind of come back to that Deebo Samuel we saw his rookie year. And if Brandon Aiyuk could, maybe elevate his game a little bit better from his rookie year as well, then you're looking at a pretty decent wide receiver core that just needs a little bit more help when it comes to depth wise. But if you could get a guy like Harry there to kind of bolster up the roster, I think better days for whoever's taking snaps for the 49ers.
Personally, I think they could have benefited more from a veteran presence walking in, but there just seemed to be a big market on those. And I think Golden Tate signed off the board. That was on my bucket list for the offseason. But, oh well, Niners faithful, let us know what you think. Yay or nay, NKeal Harry did a little poll on our Instagram, and it was about even. So probably expect the same in the comments below. But go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Got a ton of content coming for the season. Looking forward to the preseason season. We're a little bit less than a month away. It's coming quick, guys. Training camp, roster cuts. It's all going to be talked about on this channel. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.